Hello and welcome to this week's episode of SBXIV, the podcast about Final Fantasy XIV. Today is April 2nd, 2016. This is episode season 3, episode 30. And with me today is Circean.
Well, hello there.
Orphan.
April Fools, haha, we got you. We fooled all you.
What? It's April 2nd.
Huh? What?
It's April 2nd. April
Huh?
2nd. Never mind. Jeff.
Stay a while and listen.
What?
That's quite a treasure you have in that Herodric cube.
Oh my gosh. Oh. And Joe.
Hello.
So it's been a while because we've been quite busy and full and getting, I don't know.
Stupidly intoxicated?
Are you sure? I don't think you were intoxicated enough.
I think my liver still hurts.
What? No way. Nah.
I think your liver had a little bit more
Dude,
room for
I
some more booze.
had my first beer yesterday.
Whoa.
Yeah. It took like 5 days for me to kind of feel like I wanted to drink again. It was gross.
Are you? No way.
It was pretty rough. Baiju, never again. Not even once.
You seriously
this
did
is
not
a
want to drink after
PSA.
Baiju.
Do not drink Baiju. You don't know what it is. You don't have to know what it is. Just don't drink it.
We all plan to treat Circean next time to each of us a bottle of Baiju.
I'll cry. I would break down like a PTSD bundle of sadness and terror.
While drinking it.
While
While
drinking it. But you'd enjoy it, right?
There'd be so many more good conversations.
Oh, hell yeah. There was so many good conversations. In case you're wondering, this past weekend, last weekend, we had our get-together with all of us present, and we had quite an enjoyable time over at Seattle SakuraCon, drinking, eating, and having a lot of fun. Getting a preview of what's to come in FanFest. Unfortunately, someone messaged me in-game, like last night, and said, hey, I am in the area and I missed you guys while I was at SakuraCon, because they attended SakuraCon and they're on our server, and they were like, I wished I had known, and could have hung out. And I was kind of like, oh my gosh, it would have been so much fun to like have more people to hang out with, because we did have a listener, and he's also our friend, come join us, which was a lot of fun. And man, I'm still feeling full and fat from all the food. But all that, oh my gosh, that food was great.
Can I ask a question? Did anybody here come home and like happily just gnaw on vegetables and salad for a while?
Yes, that was me.
Okay. Good. I'm glad.
Nope.
I'm glad I'm not the only. You bad man.
I didn't.
Really?
More.
What salad?
You don't make friends with salad. You don't make friends with salad.
No, salad is good. Like even like I had a pizza today, and it was a mod pizza, so it had like already the garlic and the tomatoes and all sorts of yummy things.
So what do you call it? A vegetable? What is that?
Vegetarian?
Anyway, let's move on. Today we're going to be talking about the live letter from the producer, number 27, which Oro and I slept through. The other guys
Which a lot of us just fucking stayed up till 5 a.m. to
Yeah.
No,
on a Friday night.
We stayed up to watch it, but we totally didn't watch it.
Yeah,
What
we
did
just had
you
it running
guys
in the
do?
background.
We were too busy being drunk and like going, oh, okay. So there were certain areas where we had commentary about what was going on. We were too busy being drunk and stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
I heard someone got very, very, very loud
Yeah.
during that time. I'm surprised they did not report you to front desk.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, Joe. What the fuck?
Oh no.
Damn.
They could have knocked on the door and said something.
Yep.
They're probably scared. Anyways, we're also going to be talking about the Novice Network feedback, the PSO2 Final Fantasy XIV collaboration. We have a forum thread having song requests for the Orchestrion, the Heaven's Ward or Heaven's Ware interactive maps for Heaven's Ward, and all sorts of quality life improvements, changes on the feast, and emails, because that's very, very important. So we're going to go head first into the live letter from the producer, number 27. I keep saying episode because it's like, well, I guess it's like an episode, right? It's like days of our lives with the live letter from producer. No. Anyways, I cherry picked topics that, are really pertinent or are like really, really big and meaty, and I knew that we would be probably talking quite a bit about. I do highly recommend you check out the official forum and check out the numerous posts by Bayonne, on basically the English translations of the questions that were asked and the answers and stuff. But our first one is healers seem to miss their attacks quite frequently in dungeons released in patch 3.2. Do you have plans to adjust healer accuracy? Is it really bad?
It's really bad.
Like, how bad is bad?
So in the normal dungeons, like the experts, if you don't have any accuracy melded to your gear, I can go through there with maybe an 80% hit rate, maybe 90 if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And it's bad.
Okay, so I think the number crunching wise, it's like you start with 391 or something like that base accuracy. With 470 something, you don't have 100% accuracy yet.
Correct.
Whoa.
So the deal with that is you're just basically wasting GCDs where a healer is trying to heal and then throw in the DPS in between. If you're throwing at a DPS and you're not doing anything, it's pointless. You're blowing your mana for no reason and you're not helping anybody.
Yeah.
I think the more amusing part is Midas Normal had lower accuracy requirements than Expert Dungeons.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what that number was. I didn't care. But
because you basically hit it no matter what.
But it was just amusing that I was like, oh, hey, look, I'm sitting at like 470 and I'm not missing in Midas Normal, and all of a sudden I'm missing in these Expert Dungeons. It's kind of amusing, but
yeah,
I'm glad.
Mildly amusing.
Okay, I mean, it sucks missing, but whatever.
Yeah.
You can't really do anything about it unless you spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
So this is the official answer from Yoshida and company. When it comes to dungeons, our original plan was that healers should be able to hit the monster without worrying too much about accuracy. So we'll make adjustments to this so you don't need to worry about it as much. As for raids, we don't want to create instances where healers are forced to deal damage, but we understand some groups use this in their raid strategy and therefore have their members meld gear with accuracy. We're currently debating within the debating. That's actually in the sentence, so there must be a typo, with the development team regarding accuracy. So please wait a bit longer. So it's going to suck if they change it and all those people have all that accuracy melded. Will it help them still? Like, because that's going to be, then at some point they're going to be over the accuracy cap.
Correct.
And they're going to just be like tears because they've wasted those meld spots.
I disagree.
Okay.
Because there's... Okay. They're not going to... it's not healer accuracy, right? Like, it's not... It's accuracy for casters, essentially. So
yes.
If you remove or whatever, or lower the accuracy requirement for healers, you're also removing the accuracy or lowering the accuracy for casters. So they're not going to do that.
So what they could do was something that Jeff, you and I had talked about prior, was attach accuracy buff to cleric stance, kind of like how tank stance has it.
Yeah.
Which is the most logical step.
That would probably be the best course of action. But they're not going to suddenly be like, oh, well, blah, 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 100 accuracy is too much. Let's lower it by like 200 or something. Like, they're not going to do that. Because that
Yeah.
just skew the balance for casters not needing to, balance, because you have to balance your stats accuracy versus your crit and your det and your spell speed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if they remove it or lower it, it's just completely unfair. They'd have to lower it across the board, in which case that's also kind of weird. But I don't know. I don't think they'll do anything too crazy, and I don't think people who are fully melded or halfway melded into accuracy and healers, like I wouldn't be upset at all, because basically it means for me that, I don't miss.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't know. I'm not a healer. I don't want to even touch a healer because that would mean lives are in my hands. And that's not something you should put in my hands. People will die.
What should be
But
put in your hands?
when you get that feeling,
Nope.
you want
Sexual
healing.
healing. Sexual healing.
Oh.
It's good for you.
No. 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 Anyways, moving on. Full parties that feature a scholar and astrologian don't have a mind party bonus, so there are times where there is an added difficulty in healing. Do you have plans to change the party bonus for scholar or astrologian? I never noticed that. Then again, I don't think I've ever ran without a white mage. I think.
Correct. I don't know if. Well, you see, this is the same idea. Like, well, what about back in the 2.0 days when you ran scholar? You didn't get a mind bonus.
No, you didn't.
So, like, this really doesn't fix anything if they added mind to one or the other, or both. Actually, it nerfs stuff if you change both to mind, because, well, okay, no, I lied. I don't actually know how much piety affects black mages anymore, but back in the day, it was like, ooh, I can meld all this piety into this gear and, squeeze out an extra fire 1 kind of thing.
Yes.
Or some people were really relying on the pi bonus from party to get that 1 extra fire. I don't know about now though.
So right now, then scholar and astrologian give the pi bonus, right? Okay, and then the white mage is the only one that gives the mind bonus. Okay.
Well,
I
didn't actually know this, but
yeah, I don't think anyone really knew or paid attention to it.
Yeah, neither did I. I mean, this is actually kind of because I don't really pay attention to it. To me, it's just like I'm more concerned about other things than those stats. But now it's becoming more important, so that's good to know. Not that I've ever went without a white mage anyway, except for doing pugs. But whatever. It's not difficult. So this is their response. It's not difficult to change this. However, by changing this, we worry that some may think of this as a nerf. Our view on this is that we should make the party bonus effective no matter what kind of healer combination is used. But we would like to hear from players to see if it would be all right to remove the pi bonus. So please let us know on the forums. We would like to consider changing this. See, that's going to be really... I mean, I see what Jeff is saying and what Yoshida is saying, but why can't we have both? I like the pie, and I guess the healers would like the mind.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's I think it's only 8. So in the long run,
it can't be anything super huge.
In the long run, I don't really feel like the mind or the pie really matters. But maybe
I don't see why it can't be both, because pretty much like in any like raid configuration, well, in every raid configuration, you're going to have the vitality bonus.
Yes.
So why not just give them, the vitality bonus should just always be there, pretty much, is what I'm saying. And like pie should always be there too, sort of thing.
What they could do is make it so it stacks. Like it's the first healer gives you mind, the second healer gives you piety.
I think that's
so
what
if you
they
only
should
roll
do.
one, you only get one or the other.
Mind, yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
I was actually going to say, I was going to say, just give healers both. You just one healer gives you both mind and pie. Boom.
That could work, but then in a 4-man content, you get basically all your buffs. I'm not sure whether the 4-man conflict is made to kind of have those kind of stats, even though they're blow through. No one really thinks about them.
Yeah, that's exactly it though. It's like you don't think about it because I don't feel like it's that important.
It's really not.
It's really not, but I do. Go ahead. Sorry,
some
Jeff.
is better than none, right? Obviously.
Yes.
Obviously. That they would not be talking about it as a problem if it was not an issue.
Yeah. I do think that Joe's idea is really great because, I mean, there's some raid groups that go off with just one healer, and it works for them. But for those that are running with two, maybe it's their comfort level, maybe it's where they're at in the game, or I mean, whatever, for whatever reason. I think though, maybe mentally, it's kind of like, your security blanket. You think that it's going to help you in some capacity. So then why not just give them those two bonuses if you have those two healers? It's your like security blanket, like your favorite,
What does
animal.
Astro give?
They both give pie. Astro and Scholar are both pie.
Oh, okay.
So then so then you can't run with a Scholar and Astrologian in the same party in the mindset of those people.
You don't get the mind bonus.
That's correct.
Even though that's a pretty good setup.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good setup. So because of how each healer
interacts with each other.
Yeah, exactly. So
pre-shielding, regen, then buffs, and then having the stat bonus on top of it.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want that kind of combination? If you're running an 8-man setup, it seems the most ideal. I mean, but you're not running 8-man setups often, except for like what? You're doing it for Void Arc, Primals, Feast,
Raiding Void Arc,
Midas, Raid. But
I don't know. I don't know if it should do it now that I think about it, because a lot of people do feel that Astro Scholar is like the strongest combo of healers.
Mm-hmm.
So giving that combination the mind buff, I don't know. I don't really care.
Too powerful.
I don't really think it'd be super OP. So
it just lends to that whole mentality and kind of shuns the white mage theoretically.
Yeah,
kind of, sort of. Like I'm even considering leveling Astro to try to do Astro Scholar for my raid group. So
it just seems like either way, people have this mentality that one of those jobs is kind of out if you have another job, and then it seems like it'll always kind of happen. I mean, and what can you do? There's 3 healers.
That's a case-to-case basis based on content.
That's true. That's very true.
Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well.
If you care, official forums. If you don't, then don't worry about it.
All right. Following question. Since the introduction of Alexander Gordius Savage, the number of parties for it in Party Finder seems to vary greatly depending on the world. Do you have plans to make it possible to recruit members across other worlds? I don't think I've seen any parties for Alexander Gordius Savage.
Midas Savage, yes. Gordius, I don't see it ever anymore.
Nope. Not ever.
Yeah, that's what Duty Finder's for, right?
Yeah.
At this point, right? If you really want to experience it, queue up and just keep wiping, right?
Yep. That's what it seems like to me.
Or make some friends.
But this way, cross-server Party Finder is what they're talking about.
Yes, they are. They are talking about, because people are transferring worlds, to another world in order to clear Alexander. They're finding that there's huge differences in amount of Party Finders available, for raiding dependent on those worlds. So they're trying to find, the means of creating a raid finder similar to the duty finder, and it would only apply to the newest raid content. And then they would be able to, make fine adjustments, for the raid. So either it's practice or clearing. I like that idea. Though I really want the ability to practice particular phases over and over again versus having to go through
to re-slog your way.
Oh, seriously.
Dear Sephiroth, eat a dick.
Eat a huge dick.
So I'm cool with that, the cross server thing, but it's like I don't like the way they asked about it, because like it's yesteryear content. Who the hell cares? I mean, you want it for the achievement, you want it for that, but really, no one gives a shit. Like, if you were saying, oh, Midas is really hard to find Party Finder for, blah, 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 and then, could you do this?
Yeah,
sure,
that
I'd
is
understand.
weird that they related it to Gordius.
Yeah,
I
like,
think so
why
too.
would you do second coil when final coil is out? Why would you do first coil when second coil is out? Like, you didn't. You know, you did it for the glamour, maybe, and then it would be very few and far between, you know, just people going random. Like, it would be the equivalent of like, oh well, I hardly see anybody farming for ponies in Party Finder anymore. Can you make a, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
well, because ponies came out like last year,
and you can 3-man them.
Yeah, so it's kind of along the lines of that. I mean, not exactly, but it's just bizarre, I think. Because this happens to every content. You know, next patch it's going to be people party finding for Midas or sparse.
Yeah, but I wonder if maybe. No, never mind. I was gonna say maybe they just mistyped it, but no, I think they got it right. But anyway, they're also thinking about, I guess, showing that people have completed the content, so they can't just lie their asses off. But I remember, Joe, didn't you do that once? That you didn't really.
I did that in turn 4.
But how did you get away with that? Because
we cleared it. That's how you get away with it.
Because
with
you
the
one
skill,
shot that shit.
With the skill to beat it. That's how you get away with it. Because then they can't be mad.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But I'm in my mind, I'm thinking like the new person bonus or whatever. Wouldn't they have seen that?
Well, the other group, they had a few members who didn't clear it either.
Ah,
which is my biggest problem with Party Finder. The whole you can't be new, but I can be new.
Oh yeah, you can't be new, but my friend can be new.
Oh, it's so irritating.
That's dumb.
Well, because you automatically assume, because like, you automatically assume my friend can do no wrong, and so it's like you're doing something right, and then like surprise, you know, some bullshit crap happens. Maybe you lag for half a second and you eat something, and then all of a sudden every wipe prior to that was your fault because look at this guy, he just died.
Fucking newbie.
Fucking pugs. God. Ugh.
Well, it's the same thing with like you theoretically can only carry like one person, you know?
Yeah,
that's true.
So they're just planning on like carrying their buddy, and so everybody else should be able to carry that one person. They're not trying to carry 2, you know?
I think it's still shit though.
It is. It is shit. Anyways, so this kind of content they're hoping to introduce in patch 3.3, but I'm not holding my breath. There's a lot of other things that they said they would introduce that never materialized. Nope. So the Party Finder that works cross worlds, they're going to follow up on it and probably introduce it at a later time. They're going to first implement the Raid Finder. So if you're please look forward to it.
I'm only hoping that the Raid Finder abolishes the data center bullshit, and if that's the case, that'd be great, because that would mean I can pretty much do away with playing 2 characters.
Who would you make your main?
I would play on Zark, because that has most, like, all my crafters on this, most of the event achievements are on this.
Yeah,
that's what my static is. I'm the most versatile on this character. I can heal DPS and tank as opposed to just... Sorry, I can heal DPS and tank on multiple classes of each type. So instead of just having warrior and white mage, it's, you know, warrior, scholar, white mage, bard, ninja kind of thing.
I still would like for them to abolish the data worlds, the data centers, because it's kind of
just keep data center for like the duty finder, and that's it. Or just for duty finder.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think that'd be great.
But I think the game is still probably has huge populations on particular worlds that make it hard for them. I don't know.
Possibly.
Anyway.
I mean, there has to be a rationalization for the compartmentalization of these data centers.
Yes.
So I'm wondering how technologically they can actually break that kind of setup. Makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll see what happens. Probably a few years from now, because that's when it seemed like it'll probably be addressed.
Probably.
Next question. During the 20th letter from the producer live, you explained that the specialist system will be implemented in order to balance the current situation where crafters are forced to level multiple classes and because you would like players to work together with each other. However, there are specialist recipes which require gear which have advanced melding, and the skill rotation has become much more complicated with specialist actions, and it feels like the threshold has increased more than before. Do you have plans to make adjustments so more players can enjoy crafting? When I saw this question, I was like, oh, fuck yes, someone asked this question, because I don't like crafting, because I mean, why do I have to have a fucking huge ass rotation to craft? That seems silly to me. I don't know. Does it seem? Am I the only one, or do you guys like that?
I did it in 2.0, so I guess I'm already kind of like of that mentality. I know what needs to happen.
Uh-huh.
But I do agree that there's a glut of skills, and there are certain skills I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I think that a simplification or a kind of a consolidation of stuff would be smart.
Yes.
But, the people who want that complexity get screwed out of it. So, I mean, it exists for a reason.
Yes.
What I don't like is the fact that some of the quote-unquote like mandatory skills are pretty high into another craft that you had no intent on leveling. And so that means more money invested into something that you weren't even going to take to cap. I mean, it's different from like, getting blood for blood or something on your Lancer, where all you have to do is fight stuff, right?
Yeah.
But this one, you're spending money. You have to gear it up, or else you're failing, meaning you're not leveling up that craft. And like I have a 50 leatherworker that was my second 50 actually. And I was just like, fuck, for me to be like a successful crafter, I need, level blacksmithing and armor and cooking and weaver to like past 30. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
and,
some of them 50.
Right? And so like with the specialist thing, maybe they should do something where if you are a specialist at 60, you get some of those abilities or something close to those abilities, so you don't have to level something to like 40.
I'm pretty
if you're
sure
a specialist,
that I'm pretty sure that Rayo, he's our mutual friend and for company member, he says something to that effect, because I shared with him my trepidation in having to go further than 50 on my crafters, because I was kind of like, it's a lot of work, and I'm not really sure I'm committed to it, because there's a lot of other stuff going on that I have my hands into, and that's the last thing I really want to stress over, to be quite honest. It would be fun to get into, but it's just not something I want to be like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to, put my all into it, and rah. So he said, as you level and you get into your specialties, you do gain the skills that you would need from the other classes to use in your specialty class or something like that. But let me read the response from Yoshida, which touches kind of on what, Joe and Siri were saying about the whole crafting thing. The reason I mentioned that previously was because players were nearly forced to level every crafting class, or it was difficult in general to craft. We would like to move forward so that top-tier crafters can maintain their advantage, and for older recipes, these recipes aren't really difficult to craft. In patch 3.3, we're going to increase crafters' item level cap. There may be pros and cons for this, but the next one we're planning to make them as shared class equipment. So they showed images of the new craft equipment, that are planned to be added. And we'll also add the equipment that you can exchange with red scripts. In patch 3.4, we're planning to release new equipment. So this new equipment are to prepare for this. You need the current gear to make the next. So it doesn't mean that the current gear is going to waste. I don't think, though, that whatever they said really addresses the question that was asked. Is that just me?
It does not.
Yeah.
It
Unless
basically
they're
sounds
giving
an
like a
increased gear.
shit ton of like, control and craftsmanship like on it to just make it easier that way. So it's less, or it's harder to fail. Because if they just give like a shit ton of the stats, I don't know if that's what they mean. Because I don't know. That's
Well, the thing is that they've already admitted that those are
shared
going to be
gear.
for.
That's what they're talking about, and that's
Well,
really
technically,
important.
isn't red script shared gear?
No, it's not. Surprise! It's
you have to
fucking-
make it.
It's okay. Not only is it crafted, it's crafted and job specific.
Yes.
Interesting.
GG. So you have to meld every single crafter separately, and yeah, that shit's not. It's not cheap. The gear itself is a couple of mil depending on your server worth of materials, and time because red script blah blah blah, and then bajillion millions worth of materia depending on how shitty or how amazing your luck is. So shared gear, very fucking important, because
Especially for all the Omni crafters, because most people who are
Yes.
specialists are Omni crafters.
yeah, well, they're specialists and they're omni crafters at the same time.
It's there's no, I don't know anybody who has like a 60 crafter specialist who doesn't have at least 2 other 60s in another craft.
Yep. So getting to share gear is so good. That's why that artisan gear back in the 50 days was so amazing, because you straight away from, oh look, I have these culinarian apron, and then I have this weaver's smock, or I don't even know what they're fucking called, but you know what I mean? Like you have like,
Well,
level
even
50
what was
HQ
it?
each.
The Dodore shit.
Yeah, and like
That shit was fucking good too, right?
So yeah, you got the belt, the Dodor belt,
And the body?
and then the accessories, and the body was pretty good for sure, and it was good until
The AF, right? Or the
it was good until the AF, but then once you hit 50, it's like fuck no. Now I have like everything at 50, and I have like inventory is a problem. Let me put that right out there. Inventory is a hell of a crazy problem.
It
Even
is.
when you're just leveling like Disciple of War and Magic classes, and then you want to top that off with like, oh, I have a separate body piece for, all 6 or whatever 8 of the crafters and the 3 gatherers, and you're just like, yeah.
okay,
This is-
it's kind of related, but not. How come you can't switch just your weapon if your whole gear set is where it can equip it? If you get what I'm saying, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
you can.
What? No, if you don't have space, it won't let you.
Oh, you mean like clicking the button?
Yeah. Like
'Cause you
I can't
can-
switch.
like, say, for
I can't switch
example-
from Dark Knight and Paladin if my inventory's full,
Oh,
and they
okay.
share the exact same gear
It's
except for the
probably because
weapon.
of the shield. Maybe your shield.
No,
stuff
not even that.
is-
I only carry 2 shields on me, so it's not even the shield. It's like,
But
nope,
you can
my
manually unequip and re-equip it, though, right? Like you can
no, because
manually
you can't unequip
switch.
the shield, or you can't unequip the weapon.
Because even
Because
if you have just one thing and like the weapon, for example, if all the armory spots are taken up, you cannot change a single piece of gear, and it's so dumb.
Because I know for fact that I can do that with my crafters. Like, I.
But
put
is your
on
inventory
my-
all full?
Oh, of course it's not. But
Okay,
like,
well, but that's the
I
difference
can-
here. If your
Yeah,
inventory
it
is
just won't let me
completely
swap
full,
the weapon.
yeah.
It just won't let me. So, like for crafters, if you are the artisan gear, let's say you're full artisan and you want to switch from like culinary to weaver, you can't
It-
unless you make space.
Yeah, but the very least, that's like eight body, head, hands, etc. slots, or
Yeah.
whatever, that you don't have to fill with stuff that's well, pretty much super fucking expensive because you're like, because let's face it, if you're a serious crafter, you're probably over melding your shit too, right?
For sure, for sure.
And so you're looking at saving a lot of money, saving a lot of inventory space, and of course, it's probably better. So you're upgrading all around.
So there's the plus side, but what about the skill rotation? So I know that some, like, when I had people craft things for me, they would make a comment on how long it would take to make a certain amount of things, or how much work they would need to put into making an item.
Correct.
Unless they give you skills 60 plus that replace skills that you get at lower levels in other crafts, that's still going to be a thing.
It's still going to be a thing.
Level everything to 50 minimum.
Because if you look at the cross-class skills from the other classes, why you level these classes up, like Birgit's Blessing, is a
why do I level Carpenter, Brygots?
No,
exactly. Why do I level Culinarian? Steady Hand 2. Like, you know, it's the same thing. It's like, why do I have a Dragoon in my party? Battle Litany, Disembowel. Why do I have a ninja in my party? Trick Attack. It's you know, you boiled down that class to the most important thing that it gives you, and that's what happens.
Yeah. Actually, Rayo put it very well. He said, when you craft, it's a mathematical problem. And when you look at it, you have to figure out whether your maximum craftsmanship on each touch and your maximum quality on each touch can equate to the final number required of 100% of both. If it cannot, from a mathematical standpoint, you're done. That's where these other skills come into play. Because with things like Steady Hand 2, you're basically pumping those up to damn near 100% or 100%. So then that adds more variation and more power to your abilities. So you're basically using those like exponents and shit. You're basically creating an algebraic problem to craft.
That sounds insane to me. I'm sorry. I don't find enjoyment in that.
High level crafting is actually really fun. Really, really fun. Leveling up, not so much, because you burn through the gear so fast that you just end up filling your inventory with shit. It's stupid.
Especially with leaves and turn-ins and then eventually collectability.
Yeah.
You jump levels.
But once you hit that max level and you're like, boom, my gear's not changing, and you don't have to worry about that, and you're just, you know, it's like no gear, just craft. It becomes really, it's really interesting, especially because you're trying to HQ stuff, and you're like, well, there's no way I can 100% HQ this without getting the gear that I need, that I trade the item that I'm trying to craft into to get. So you know what I mean? It's like, I can't HQ this until I HQ this with the gear that I get with an HQ version of this.
Yeah, it doesn't fun to me at all.
So you end up biting your, you know, you just end up cutting your losses, saying, okay, well, the best I can do is, you know, 50-60% HQ, and then you sit there crafting it and hoping that the odds are ever in your favor, and you HQ it so that you can hand it in to get whatever item or whatever things that you wanted to get with, you know, with that thing that you're crafting.
I say more power to the crafters out there. You have my admiration. It's just way too much for me to be able to process. I like my games.
What kind of crafting system would you like to see? Like, what kind of crafting system do you like?
You know, that's a good question, because I didn't like 11s because when you lost your stuff, when you failed a craft, you lost everything. And then there was this whole theory about positioning and the day and the weather and the moon phase and all that other shit. I was just like, no, I don't want to deal with it. I also just don't like the idea of having to level other crafters in order to make progress in my other crafts. I mean, already, because like I'm the type of person who would want to gather all my materials to cut down on my costs. And, you know, so for certain things, that means a lot of fucking crafting, especially cooking. You know, you take cooking into account, you have to get all those ingredients and then make all those ingredients and then put them all together and be like, voila, there is, you know, my item thing that I get to turn in. And it's just, to me, it's a lot of work and effort that I could spend doing other things. You know, I'm going back to school next week, and that's the last thing I kind of would want to do. I mean, there's other things I could do with my time. I mean, I get it for the crafters who really like this stuff. That's great for them. But personally, for me, I wouldn't want to do it because it's just a waste of my time.
Okay. I mean, I guess I could rebuttal that, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about this because it's. But like, in 11 was the same thing. It's like you could either buy all the materials or you can gather the materials at the auction house.
Yeah.
And then you can craft them. Same idea here. Do you want to gather your materials? Yes. Do you want to buy them from the market board? You know, you can do either or. It doesn't really change much. Except for gil spent or gil lost, opportunity to gil lost, because you're now crafting what you've gathered instead of selling it. In 11, the crafting was random, straight up random.
It was random.
What did you lose when you broke the synth that was randomly broken? That's random too, except for a couple of special synths where you know, always lost everything. But you know, like you could lose nothing. You could lose one thing. You could lose two things. You could lose everything. There's no way to determine what happens when you fail a craft in 11. In this one, you know, you're like, you have an ability called Reclaim that's like 90% able to reclaim all of your materials when you fail the craft. So I think that's kind of neat. And the crafting is like fighting. It's like doing a rotation on a dummy. You know, you're like, I'm going to do this, and then 5 of these, and then this and this, and then, you know, if I get a proc, I do this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know. I like it because it's involved, and it's not press start, go make coffee, come back, oh, yay, it won. You know?
Well, no, I don't want that either, but I don't want what we have right now for 14 either. It's just, to me, personally speaking, it's just too complicated, and I don't want to deal with that. There's way too many other things I could do with my time than spend time messing with that.
Fair enough. I think it's perfect. I think it's fine, actually. Not perfect, but I think it's fine the way it is because it's enjoyable and it's its own game. You know, it's for the, like, if you don't raid, if you don't, you know, feel the need to progress to world first, whatever, if you don't even feel the need to do something simple like a relic weapon crafting, you know.
Well, yeah, see, and that's the thing though, if you weren't doing all the other stuff and you didn't have other things to do, I could see why that would be appealing. But outside of that, it's like,
but
you
it's
know,
but that's a choice. I'm not saying.
Yeah, you're right. It is a choice.
Don't have the time to raid or whatever. Don't have the time to do Void Arc. Don't have the time. It's not that. It's, I could do Void Arc, or I could just watch Netflix and spam some buttons and then sit at my FC house and craft stuff and then make money.
I'd rather raid.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no.
Because some people don't like it, straight up. Like just like you don't like it, some people completely opposite of you, don't like raiding, don't like whatever. And they just like logging in, chatting with their buddies, and sitting at the house crafting. Hey guys, what do you need? I'm making blah blah blah. Anyone want any? Cool. I'll give you, you know, an FC discount, blah 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 blah. I mean, those people run this economy, kind of, sort of, not really, but...
I will say that when I first started playing the game, what I envisioned my character being and what I really wanted to be, like, was someone who focused heavily on crafting. And this was, like, back in 1.0 when they were, like, marketing crafting as a kind of a lifestyle kind of thing. Like,
and
oh,
it is.
hey, crafting's gonna be... No, it's not. It's not what it doesn't mesh with what they said it was going to be.
Well, okay. To be fair, it's also 1.0 versus
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
2.0.
I'm saying. This is back in 1.0, and back then, like, it wasn't something that um, met my expectations. And at the moment, it really doesn't feel that way either.
But that's 1.0 and this is 3.0 and after I mean Yoshida changed the vision from what Tanaka wanted anyways halfway into 1.0.
Yeah, like I said, in 1.0,
Yeah.
it didn't it
And it's
didn't gel with me,
and in 2.0,
now it still doesn't gel with me.
right?
So it's kind of for me, crafting is kind of like this extra thing that's out there to do. I don't feel like it's the kind of thing that I want to like put all my resources into because it doesn't feel like I would get the kind of reward that I want out of it that I initially thought I would get. So
Fair
that's
enough.
more or less how I feel about it.
I think it's actually hella time required and hella reward. That's
It's
how I
it's
feel
not
about it.
just about like for me, it's not just about the time required.
But what I
It's
mean is, it's like time versus reward ratio is really high. Lots of time required, lots of reward is what I'm saying. And I don't. I mean, you can say you don't feel like there's any reward. Fine with you.
no. I'm not saying there's not any reward. I'm saying that the reward is not something that appeals to me. It's not what I envisioned I would get. Which I mean, I'm not saying crafting is shit. I'm sure I know lots of people enjoy it, like you said. People have their fun times doing it, but it's not the kind of lifestyle experience that I expected from it. And that's just me. And I'm just saying that's how I feel about it. So
Okay. Anyone else have anything to say about crafting or anything before we move on? No? Okay, we'll move on. Last question that we thought was, pretty important. We'll touch on a few extra things and it'll be minor blurbs after this. In a previous live letter, you mentioned a type of content where you can make your own platoon, but I was curious about the progress of this. That's funny because I
What does
remember
that mean, platoon?
it's where you gather NPCs and from your grand company and you take them into a dungeon to tackle that content on your own with these NPCs. So the answer to this is this content has had some hardships during the planning stage, but we are planning to add this patch in 3.4. However, I cannot make any promises right now as to whether we will be able to add dungeons that you can bring your platoon to at the same time. Though we will be unlocking the second lieutenant rank for grand companies at that time. Holla fucking Luya, so it won't be until 3.4.
So theoretically, you'll be able to run dungeons solo.
Yes, but
or does it sound like it's gonna be separate content?
it sounds like it will be after. It will be sometime later, if ever, because that's what they were wanting to do. But right now, they have to add their own dungeons or something, and that'll be later. So you can't do dungeons right now solo, it seems. I think that's how I read it. Anyways, in regards to companies, we will be adding new items that can be purchased from grand companies in patch 3.3. So new ranks in 3.4, new items in patch 3.3. Please look forward to it.
Fucking God.
It only took what?
Like
3.4?
4 years?
Shit.
Wait for
Jesus. New grand company ranks.
what? Oh yes.
It took
damn
forever.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's important. Like, honestly, you use it for glamour or for the random little, crafting items or just sell
Yeah.
or for adventures. But just, I'm tired of being whatever second sergeant.
Yeah.
Just, you see those other tabs and it taunts you. I just want to fucking click them and see what's supposed to be there.
I
what
know.
I can theoretically get.
It's like I try not to go under a certain range for my grand company points, even though I know I can get them back very, very quickly. It's just mentally I keep thinking, one day, someday, I'm going to need these points and I'll be able to rank up. And
I'm gonna
now I
rank
know.
up, I'm gonna get the quest. I'm gonna have to go back to fucking Orem Vale and be
Oh
sad.
my god.
Yeah.
Back to Ormvale.
Mm-hmm. So, is there any other thing from the live letter that stuck out to you guys that you want to mention before we move on?
Yes.
No add-ons till 4.0 or never.
I'm betting on never.
Well,
and,
no add-ons that have any
Oh, yes,
specific
all
like,
aesthetic
use.
shit.
It's all aesthetics
That's stupid.
because they're like, we don't want to give you guys.
So what does that mean, though? Does that mean, like, I can get round hotbars instead of square
Yeah.
ones?
It could be.
Yeah.
So,
Or,
did
like,
you ever play with like your UI in WoW or see what could be done with that?
Yes.
Like they were able
No.
to do like what are called like arc bars, where you have these thin green bars to your left and right of your character. So you would see that would be your health and mana,
Mm-hmm.
and they would disappear when you're out of combat, reappear while you were in.
Or, like,
Or-
stances would visibly show
Correct.
like power auras. Was that what it was
Yeah.
called? Yeah.
Or like your bars would morph based on what aura you were using, what stance you were in. So those kind of modifications are probably what they're intending. Things that are
Or,
not
like,
going to lead
procs.
to DPS. Yeah.
Procs would show up, like, for example, if you had, like, a free cure, it would give you, like, a halo or something, so you knew you could use a free cure too. Shit like that.
Yeah, that seems to be the
Ooh.
route they're going with the add-ons. Things that are going to be quality of life and visual supplements, but nothing that would parse your DPS or track where the last hunt mob was.
Or,
'Cause-
yeah.
Those mods also existed in WoW.
Maybe
Which-
bigger thing for your dots, so you specifically can see, hey, Grace Lightning is falling off, or Demolish is falling off, or Arrow 3 is falling off.
Oh yeah. What else did I want to say? I wanted to say something about. Oh, I thought it was interesting that they talked about the progression at which people world first did this. They said, yeah, that's about right. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That means the content was right about where they tuned it to be.
Because they
unlike
weren't like,
the
oh
real
shit,
tier.
people finished in day one, or, damn, people can't beat this thing.
Yep. So I feel like that's good. I also was kind of laughing at the A6S difficulty.
Oh, how it's
They
out of
said
order
that- They said
in
that.
his head?
Well, no, I think someone said like they felt that it was out of order. Like,
Oh,
Do we-
yes, that 6 and 7 should have been switched.
yeah, that's
Wh-
amusing.
Which I thought was kind of funny because it's like, wait a second, in Binding Quell of Bahamut, I could have sworn that there was another one, and I believe it was 8 and 7, which could have been switched too, because one set of mechanics was easier than the other.
Yeah, eight was easier than 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 was easier than 7.
And it's
some
like,
people thought like because of the difficulty, they should have been swapped, but I don't know. I don't really care. I mean, I'm on A6 right now, and it's definitely challenging. But I don't think it's challenging to the point where it should be moved to A7, and the next one should be moved down.
I think it's just weird. Anyway. Oh, and then there was a thing about Hildebrand. I remember someone was talking about that pre-show.
Oh yes, so apparently they confirmed that Hildebrand will now be in every major patch moving forward.
Awesome. I'm sure
Which- That's important.
Yeah, it is.
People like Hildebrand.
Mm-hmm. And there's no reason for it not to be. It seems kind of weird for it not to be included in every patch. But
Yeah,
that's
he's
just,
kind of become a main character in the eyes of the players.
yeah,
Well, some players. Not Oro.
not Oro.
Yep.
Definitely not Oro.
For me, Hildebrand can go strangle himself on a windowsill.
Okay.
Wow.
Anything else?
Sorry,
before-
Hildebrand.
Multiple cross hotbars.
Oh, that'll be nice to see, especially I know they were talking something about PvP and PvE and wanting to differentiate between the two. I know I would like that because, hey, I don't want to have to keep switching or whatever. Anyway.
Oh,
If
and changing the hotbars when you change your job?
yeah, but
No,
I
That's
thought
cool.
changing your UI.
UI, that's right.
that would be
I
even
think that's
better.
fucking
But
cool.
I think they say that they could not do that.
No,
Oh,
no, no,
okay.
no. They have it's gonna be, it's not gonna be changing it depending on your job. They're gonna let you like save UIs. So like you have
Oh,
this UI and you could do this is my tank UI, and then you have this UI. You be like, this is my healer.
So that means
UI.
your party menu will move depending
Yeah.
on what class you're at.
Yeah,
I
or
have a
actually
flat
like
page.
you
that a
have
lot.
things popping up at different places. Like so maybe you like having a hotbar specifically for procs that are that's gigantic. That's somewhere near the center of your screen. Who knows, right?
Yeah,
Same idea. Same idea.
yeah. Okay, that sounds good. So with that, we're going to move on to the reactions to the novice network. Anyone want to tackle that?
Siri.
Sure. Sorry, I actually don't have this link up. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Shall I go ahead and start it then? I'll go ahead and
Yeah, go
read
ahead,
it.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. So I'm gonna try and hit, the major points in here. I'm not a mentor. I don't handle the novice network. So to me, this is all like, what else? But we have a few mentors in here, and maybe they can plug in on some of these things. So adjustments to the requirements to be considered a new adventurer. They've received feedback, about requirement of having 40 hours of playtime or less to be considered a new adventurer. And that's not long enough. And I agree, 40 hours? Really?
No, it's pretty short, honestly.
That's short. There's players who are like beyond that and they're still having trouble with the game. So I don't know. It's definitely not a chance to be able to experience the wide breadth of content that's available in Final Fantasy XIV. And so they're going to have a different stages. So I think this is interesting. There's going to be it will be adjusted to the new beginner, and they will remain until players complete the main scenario quest before dawn, and when their playtime exceeds 168 hours. So that way you understand where in the game they are and how you can best help them.
Sounds good.
Well, that's really good because, when you do the recruit a friend thing,
Mm-hmm.
you get this item where you can teleport to the nearest Aetheryte.
Yes.
That if they have a sprout, but 40 hours goes by and they're like, well, this item's fucking useless.
Yeah.
On top of that, the 40 hours doesn't keep in consideration standing around Idleshire. Oh, sorry, at this point it would be Ul'dah or something like that, and asking questions and getting information.
Yeah.
That time adds up. You could burn a good 3 hours just sitting there and playing with Glamours. So a new player who wants to experience everything the game has to offer gets out of that sprout stage theoretically very quickly. I've seen people run, Tamtara, and they're just lost their sprout.
Oh, that would suck.
That doesn't feel right?
No, it doesn't feel right. Short. Yeah. So let me read the direct quote from Yoshida at this point. With this change, mentors will be able to support beginners not only up until they reach level 50 and complete the 2.0's main scenario, the ultimate weapon, but they can continue to offer support on the raising of item levels through the gathering of tomestones and such. The adjustment will be made as soon as possible without waiting for patch 3.3. That's excellent news. We don't have to twiddle our thumbs and wait for a major patch for this to occur. Which is something
went into effect.
Yeah, so that's good. Along with this change, the players who no longer have the new adventure status because their playtime has exceeded 40 hours will once again be eligible to designate themselves as new adventurers. I think that's fabulous, especially for those who have exceeded that time and still find themselves in need of help and want to be.
I was just in a God Keeper.
Mm-hmm.
And the person had their sprout on, and it was really interesting to see. People were asking, "Oh, how'd you get here so quickly?" And they mentioned that change, and that since they're still kind of acclimated, they're a recent 50, they're learning their rotation, they walk into a 50 dungeon, and all these 60s who are running for poetics, we're chastising them for not knowing shit. So they manually put the sprout back on so they can be, hey guys, look, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Oh, that dude, can I turn it on right now?
Seriously.
Because I want to turn mine on.
Let's turn mine on and like go AFK. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you get hella comms to be like, damn, you're hella good for being a sprout.
Right?
When you start playing, I started playing yesterday, bro. Game's hella fun.
Shit. Maybe I should do that for my other character. Okay, so requirements to become a mentor and the mentor population. I kind of just gleaned through this and I was kind of like, oh, really? So there are people who really, really want to become mentors. And there's a lot of people who have become mentors.
Don't see why.
There have been suggestions saying that the requirements to become a mentor should be stricter, but due to the following reasons, we have no plans to make any changes at this time. I think that's I do agree that it should be stricter.
I do it for 10 tomes a day.
I think it could stand to be a little stricter too.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a fucking mentor. That's how you know how lax these restrictions are.
Maybe they should add comms to it, because that proves that you actually, made an impression.
You needed 300 comms. You needed to have a class from each designation to 60, and you needed to have gotten 1,000 dungeons or trials done.
It was 300 comms. That's
300
it.
comms.
I'm sitting at like
it.
17 or 1800.
Yeah, I have
even-
1700.
Even if you had, even if it were tied to comms, I mean, some people just give it to the tank or healer before, or people would just assign it to whoever was last in the dungeon just to achieve,
They're 5 per week.
Yeah, exactly.
My 5 a week quota.
And that's what I've done before. I mean, like, oh, I didn't meet my quota. Let's just give it to whoever was decent enough or who's just left in the dungeon. I mean, because who else am I going to give it to? So it doesn't, to me, commendations don't mean a thing. It just means that, oh, you spent a lot of time playing with other people who could give you commendations.
Correct.
And like you would spending a lot of time playing with yourself.
And theoretically, I understand where the devs are coming from, because if you're playing with other people and you've earned these comms, theoretically you're a decent player, but that does not give a person the ability to communicate with another person and explain mechanics and treat them like a decent human being.
Yeah. And I thought this what you should have said here is very interesting. Japanese players tend to play a large variety of content, which makes the requirements to become a mentor seem quite simple. However, North American and European trend more towards focusing specifically on certain types of content instead. With that said, the requirements to become mentor will remain as they are for now. We may revise the requirements as we progress through future patches, though. So for Japanese players, it's like, this is no problem. For Northern American and European players, I guess that's why this question came up, is because I guess for our side of the water, things are different. But I think it's okay. It could be stricter, though, in my opinion. Because Siri's a mentor. And Joe's a mentor.
Jesus, don't let me be a mentor anymore. I walk in, they're like, oh, you're a mentor. I'm all, I forgot how to do this fight. I haven't done this fight in like 4 months. So
do you ever like have the mind to turn off your mentor thing?
Nope, I always forget. Like, I just looked up and it's on right now.
Oops.
Oopsie doodle.
So, inactive mentors. To allow mentors, opportunity to join the novice network more frequently, they have an AFK patch. Kick them out. I don't know. So, is there a certain amount of mentors that can be on?
200.
I never get to see it because it's always full.
Ah.
Yeah. I was playing on Matt's character the other day, and he got mentor, and all I saw was unable to join. I just fucking spamming my chat log, and I'm like, wow, this is really annoying.
Every time you zone, it tells you whether you can join the mentor channel or not.
Jeez.
It's 100 mentors and like 200 or 400 whatever novices.
Wow.
But before, a mentor could get in the channel and not say a damn word, but still be considered part of the channel. If you're inactive in the channel for X period of time now, you're automatically removed and someone else gets put in your place.
Why wasn't that implemented beforehand?
Because the devs are silly.
Because PvP is so important.
Okay, and this is another thing. Configuring the novice network auto join. This whole thing just kind of makes me want to hit my head on something, because it's kind of like, really, didn't you see this beforehand? Come on. So here, and this is why I say this, because this key sentence, you know, you have a lot of people trying to get the mentor status. And here Yoshida says, however, I believe that not all mentors are planning on assisting new players via the novice network, but instead they plan to do so through regular gameplay. And I mean,
and that's fair.
That's fair, but I mean, that's what a lot of other players do. I mean, why it to me it's just like, well, what do you think we did before this whole thing happened? Like,
I think it's more of a, if you go into a dungeon and you see someone with a crown, a sprout is, you know, at some point in their journey told people with crowns are people you can ask questions to. And it should.
That's right.
I think you cut out, Siri.
I think he did.
Maybe he crashed.
No. Okay, well, I mean, but to me it seems like there's people who have asked questions anyway, and there's no crowns. What's stopping them?
But this way, it's more of an invitation to ask, and less of, you know what I mean? Like it's more just like, oh, this guy has a crown, I have the opportunity to ask him, instead of running the risk of sounding like an idiot.
That's true.
Like,
so,
what does this do?
That's me a lot of the time. Ooh, what's this? What's that? And Siri just messaged us. His power just flickered, so I think he'll be back. We hope he'll be back. Let's hope he comes back. The expansion of the mentor system, they're hoping to allow for a field of mentor specialization. So they're considering adding a Disciple of Hand or Land mentor icon and separate a Battle class mentor icon, you know, aside from the existing crown icon, to show that, you know, this is what people specialize in, which I think makes a whole bunch of sense, because if I were a master and disciple of hand or land, why would you ask me questions about a tank? I wouldn't know.
That's very true.
Oh, hey, welcome back.
Makes sense.
Sorry,
Welcome
my
back.
power died.
Yeah, and then it says there's a PvP mentor icon too that they might add.
Kill this person now.
So I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, this still doesn't really fix many things, because, you know, even if you're a Disciple of War mentor, you could be a Dragoon main and you have no fucking clue how to ninja or monk or bard or machinist, and vice versa, or any other combination.
It's true, but I think it at least gives you a basis to direct them to someone else, maybe.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
kind of like, these are the skills you want to look for. These are the skills I know a machinist is known for. I mean, you have a basis in the game, and that's kind of the big thing.
Moving on to conversations in the Novice Network. Apparently, spoilers and endgame content and high-level things are being discussed within the Novice Network. Stop being a fucking ass. Seriously? These people are new. They are new. Don't spoil shit for them. Spoilers are not nice. So they're just asking, please, 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 don't be a dickwad. Just watch yourself.
That's basically the whole thing.
That's a tall order for.
I can't handle that.
Please don't spoil, etc. in the novice chat. Wow, that's pretty much a given, but
people are dumb and they're dickwads.
They had to make this post saying this. It's kind of weird.
Because it's been happening where people do
Well,
those
people
kind
do
of
that on
conversations
Twitter
in
and
there.
shit too, right? Like, oh my
I
god, I
know.
got to this part, and like, I can't believe Spider-Man jumped in and fucking, took my shield from me with his webs. And you're just like, oh damn it, you fucking spoiled that part for me. I'm only at the part where Iron Man shoots the Hulk into La Habrea, and they turn into a big dude.
Um,
I was ready to continue that, but I couldn't even think anymore. You just blew my goddamn brain.
And so, I mean, like, how many times new patch comes out and all of you guys, and you guys as in I'm talking to you right now, you guys are like, I'm fucking not looking at Twitter until I finish the storyline.
I don't
Oh,
look
that's
at
true.
Twitter.
I go media blackout. Yeah.
See, you guys all do that because people do that on fucking Twitter. I can't believe people don't expect this in the Novice Network.
I mean, like, I knew it would happen, but it's still like I wouldn't do it because there are people
You're
who
a
are
good
new.
person.
Oh, yes,
Kinda.
I think.
Now, qualify that. She's an okay person. She has
Depends.
some morals and lines.
It depends on how you define good.
Yeah, I mean, I have. You're right. I have my morals and my lines, and that's a line that I would not cross because I wouldn't want that to happen to me. I mean, it's. If I want spoilers, I will search for them myself. I don't want someone to give it to me without my permission. You know? I mean, I don't know if that makes sense. But
Oh, okay. Well then, Oro. Every time you want to give it to her, you gotta ask for permission. No means no.
he better not touch me anyway. Anyway.
Wow.
So just don't be a dick. Seriously.
Wow.
Keep your penis in your pants. Especially
Yeah,
you.
Oro.
Not where
Penis.
it belongs.
Oh, no. Ew. Get away. Invitation to the Novice Network. Can someone... This is a long, huge... Fucking look. What the fuck? There's a huge... Several paragraphs. Someone explain to me this invitation to the Novice Network. Anyone?
I don't understand it either, to be fair.
It's auto join for... Basically, it's auto join for mentors and invitation only for novices.
Yeah.
And
That's how I understand, but I know nothing beyond that point.
I guess they're looking to change it.
Because the whole RMT thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is really weird. Because if you're a mentor in the system, at least on Excalibur, like there was a period of time where the RMT was getting in there, so obviously there's somebody who's letting them in. And then on top of that, like if you ban them for the reason, like you're banning all these people, a mentor would ban you for spamming because it shows the reason why. I banned person for spamming, and you do this to 3 or 4 people, and then you get kicked because you're spamming the channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking amazing.
That's... Oh my gosh.
So basically, they're talking. This whole thing, long ass paragraph, is basically about them saying we're thinking about a different way of doing this. Okay, we'll look forward to it, Yoshida. Let us know
Okay.
when you find out what you're actually going to do.
If he does anything at all. Okay. The PSO2 Final Fantasy XIV collaboration. I know we're not getting anything PSO2 related. PSO2
Yeah.
apparently is
Yet,
getting...
They
Yet?
said they're thinking about it.
They're
they are
thinking.
saying they want something and they're going to see what they can do about it. But
Okay.
we've already talked about what's going to show in the... What's going to show in PSO2 last episode, didn't we? Like
Which
exactly
is the Odin
what-
fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Odin stuff. There's actually now a YouTube video on the Odin fight, so with your Google Foo, you could probably find it out. Where, like, you find out on YouTube a clip.
And I don't know if you guys care, but I actually know somebody who does play PSO2. So I'm creating a character on there probably tonight or tomorrow, and next weekend they're going to give me a boot camp so I can actually see the fight firsthand.
Oh,
See, that's pretty
nice.
badass. Yeah.
Record it.
I might record it actually, just kind of watch me die. Be done.
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving along.
Moving along. So there is an official forum thread about, Orchestrion song requests. I know that we've talked about song requests that we want. If you have a song request, go put it on the forum and actually email us too. Let us know
Let
what
us
kind of songs
know.
you'd like to hear, because I would like to know what kind of songs you want to hear. Emails at podcast at sequencebrick.com and let us know, because who knows, maybe there's a song I missed. It's probably a song I missed. There's a lot of songs I miss. Anyway.
Heavensware.com is a pretty neat website. It's
Can you explain it more?
okay. Well, it's basically like Google Maps
Okay.
for Heavensward. So it shows you where the sightseeing stuff is on the map. It shows you where the mining and blah 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 nodes, fishing spots, and aether currents, and general
All the hunts,
areas
too?
where the but it's not like hunts. It's like, oh, you have to kill 3 gelatos. Where the fuck are gelatos in here or in this zone? And so you can see it in on this map that's basically got the functionality of Google Maps. You know, you scroll to zoom in and blah blah blah, pinch to zoom or whatever. And you can click and drag around. I really like this idea. It's really awesome. I feel that the UI for this place could be reworked.
A little tweaked.
It's kind of tiny. Like the
It is
window where the
kinda
map
tiny.
is fucking tiny. And if they could stretch it to, you know, be bigger, that'd be great. But you can clearly see that this guy designed this thing strictly for his monitor size, because on a 1440p monitor, the background is repeating.
Despite that, I think this is really good. I'm looking at it right now, and I really like that he has the sightseeing vistas on here, just listed and by number as well. And when you click on it, it gives you a hint, like at the root of the tree for one of them, or
slash lookout.
Yeah.
You know, or slash sit or something like that. Because some of them are like that, or rally.
Yeah, or on the tarp of the treehouse. I mean, that is really, really cool. And I think that, I mean, for me, I only go to the sightseeing vistas if I happen to come across them. But now it's like, oh, I can go search for them with a purpose because I know exactly where they're at.
Well, you can go and cheat with them, but you know, I mean, like don't get me wrong, I don't actually think the Heavensward vistas are a puzzle.
No, they're not.
Because like the original 2.0 ones, I still don't know where they all are, and I sit there and I'm just reading them, and I'm just like, oh man, wouldn't this be hella awesome if, you know, I got it legit? Just a simple self achievement, right? But you know, so I did those I found those by accidentally running into them, or actually going, oh, I get this riddle. Let's go and see if it's there.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think this site's awesome for cheating, basically. It's nice having things like SBXIV DB or something like that, where you're able to go to a specific item and see, you know, where it is on a map. But having a single map where you can, you know, manipulate to see multiple items is always a plus.
Yes.
And I know a lot of other MMOs have sites like this, and it surprises me it's taken this long to get something of this nature.
Well, I mean,
go check it out.
Yeah.
It's neat.
Yeah, no, it's great. I was playing with it earlier today. It's fucking wonderful.
Yep.
Okay. Small quality of life improvements that were on the forum. The first one was auto face option disabled just for healing spells, and they're asking if that's possible. So they sent this over to the development team for consideration. In the meantime, just want to suggest that you can toggle the auto face target option with text commands instead of using the menu, which may be faster for now. So when switching to a healer, you can do / auto target off and switch it back on with / auto face target on. What did you say, Jeff?
I just have face target.
It says / auto face target, not auto target. Because you said auto target.
Oh, auto face. Sorry, auto face target.
Actually, if you type / auto face target, it just toggles it on and off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You don't have to type. You don't have to specify on or off, but you
it's
have
just
to
a toggle.
know. Yeah, you have to know what you were at before you typed it without on or off to know if it's on or off. But this way you can force it.
Next thing is when level synced for a fate, if you leave the fate area, don't unsync level immediately, but instead display a warning message and a countdown. If the player hasn't returned to fate area by that point, unsync them. Oh my gosh, that's one thing that drives me fucking insane.
I've been running in and out of fate areas like all the time.
However, read the response.
Okay, while it may be a little bit different from your suggestion, the dev team is checking to see whether it would be possible to alert the players when they are nearing the border of the fate area.
That's not what you want.
That's not what I want.
But that's so reminiscent of like those new Call of Duty games. Warning, you're running out of the battlefield. Turn around now.
Racing games. You're driving reverse.
Don't they have that warning thing when you're in like one of those instance areas and you're getting close to the zone line?
No.
I feel like they have like an alert in the thing that lets you know that. Like when you're doing a story mission, and you have to do like a fight or something.
Yes, that you can't progress further, but this is specifically for fates. And so if I'm doing a fate that I'm over leveled for and I decide I'm going to go do it, either to go and help a friend or because I need to do it for whatever reason, for like maybe a quest or a daily, if I happen to get out just outside the border, I'm automatically unsynced.
No, I agree with that. I mean, because the way that the mobs run around, they run towards the very edge of the border of the fate, and
some of them come from outside of that border.
Yeah, they can fucking kill you and shit.
And you end up outside of the border so easily.
Or you get knocked back.
Oh, it's that's worse. That's like, fuck, man. Why not do something like
this?
That
all the time, right? Like some S ranks just totally knock you back. And hunts are very similar to fates in the sense that, you know, they have a giant radius of where they're able to be fought. Anyway. This will be cool when it gets introduced.
Yeah. So option to turn off fate fanfares and music. So they've been receiving this request for some time now globally. So it's not just one, country over the other. The dev team is checking to see if it would be possible to add an option to toggle the battle music on and off.
Why would you want to? The Fate battle music is some of the best battle music in the game. Why would you?
You know what? I can see it. I get it. So, and this applies to nobody else here, but I come from other MMOs where there is no battle music, and honestly, I like a lot of the zone music in this game. And sure, I think that the battle fanfare for Fate or combat is fucking cool. But after a while, it gets a little tiresome. And you kind of want, for me, I'd like the ability to kind of jump back and forth. So, you know what? I just want to hear Corvus's music right now. That's all I want in my life.
I don't know. For me, like, after doing Fates, like, doing like 20, 30, 50, 175.3 Fates over the course of a day, trying to get some kind of quest done or item drop or whatever, the only thing that keeps me hyped up for those dumb Fates is the battle music.
Fair. For me, I side with Siri. Sometimes I just want an option. I mean, I don't have to use it, all the time, but I want that option for that once in a while time where I'm like, I don't care for this music, especially when I'm running through a Fate. Because it's very
true that.
It's very jarring when I have no intention of participating in a Fate and my music changes to the Fate music and then changes out. It's like, I didn't want to participate in this. Why am I listening to your fucking music? I don't care about this. Bitch, please give me my music back.
I'm hoping that this doesn't apply to Fates only. And you can turn off actual battle music, because I don't really like the battle music either. And they actually added this option into 11, where you could just be like, no battle music, or no battle music unless you're actually like engaged or something, like your friend or your party member hits something and then fuck, now I have this battle music. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I
I would
remember
like
the
it.
that.
opposite, right?
Yeah, I
In
would
11,
like it if it was me who's actively hitting it or participating in the fight. Like, say if I'm AFK and someone's hitting shit next to me, I don't want to hear that crap.
I mean, that's
No,
fine, but I think
For the
there's
same
something
reason.
kind of weird about getting murdered to Twilight over Thailand or something like that. It's just kind of weird. Like, you
Well,
kind of need to have the
I
battle
mean,
no,
music.
you're right, but some dungeons do that, right? Where you have no battle music. The
Yeah.
whole
Arboretum doesn't have it.
and
Lost
Lost City of
City,
Vanport, yeah, it's like
Anti-Tower, they're going
you
that route now.
you hit.
Kelly, what were
I
you gonna
love that.
say?
I love that.
I forgot now. No, actually, no, I remember now. There are times where I actually like the battle music, and this is one only a few times where, especially if I'm in the large alliance content and I happen to tab out or I'm looking at something else, and then all of a sudden everything starts, and
Oh,
of
you're one of
course,
those baddies.
if I hear the music start, then it's like, oh, the fight started. I better get my shit together and do something.
Right. So, but like, for the same reason you don't like, oh fuck, I'm running through this fate, or I'm
Yeah,
standing here at the edge of this city where like one fate starts, and you're just like, God, every like 20 minutes is like, dun dun dun, I'm fucking joining a fate, and this huge ass shit pops on my screen,
yeah,
and it's kind of like, So for that same reason is like, oh, I don't want to hear this battle music if I'm not the one actively participating in the fight.
yeah,
You're in a party and like your friend's like, hey, can you be in my party for the party buff? I want to hit this dummy, and you're sitting there and you have to listen to the stupid ass music because you're helping your friend by standing there.
I
It's
think more importantly, honestly, at the end of all things, more choice is better.
yes,
of course.
choice.
yeah, like
Choices.
the mount music. I like some of the mount music, but I don't want to hear Titan or Garuda. If I'm running through like Mordona and I'm
I
on
don't
my
like
Garuda mount.
I don't like any mount music. I hate mount music.
What?
I
Really?
always turn it off completely.
Nuh-uh. Seriously?
I like some, but not all. But I like less than I don't like, so I just leave it all turned off.
Me too.
And
Exactly.
I suck it up. I just suck it up.
Exactly.
If I'm like riding across the fucking landscape, having the music change to mount music just takes me out of it, and I don't like that. So I have it all turned off.
I like some of
Yeah.
the mount music. I really like the Shiva one. I want the Titan one, which is why I really want to go. I don't know. Do I have the Titan one? No, I don't have the Titan one. But I want the Titan one because I like the Titan music. So for me, it's just kind of like, oh, yay, I get to listen to my favorite music without having to load up an MP3. That's all. And I can just run around and be like, yeah.
Boy,
Exactly.
That's fair enough.
So, anything else before we move on to... Oh, wait, we have the feast changes and everything. Does anyone else want to tackle that? I don't care for the feast yet. I haven't tried it yet.
I still haven't tried it, but
Me
I can
neither.
say this: I freaked out when I heard one change.
What?
The
They lowered
machinist.
they lowered machinist damage in a feast because
They
it's too
did.
bursty.
It is. It's... Oh my gosh, they can do insane amount of damage at like random times. And you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck just happened?
Yeah. So when we were doing the live letter, all I heard was lowering machinist damage, and I'm
And
like,
we
what the
freaked
fuck?
out. I freaked out too because I'm a machinist in my Regu, and it's like, oh motherfucker, really? And
Yeah.
it was
It was bad.
in.
Then we
it
heard
was
it with the
in
feast,
PvP.
and we all went, nah.
I was like,
fuck it,
oh,
here.
okay, whatever. No one gives a shit. Well, okay. So very very brief summary of the feast changes is, shorter match, improving the flow of battle by increasing the culling or changing the culling time thing, where it's like, because the culling time was that sort of Deus Ex Machina mechanic where you need to do something, go. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's something that like makes it so that you have to be doing stuff. And then damage increases damage increase and bonuses by metals and all that junk are going to be increased. Yay! Which also is like this all ties into speeding up the process and instead of prolonging matches. Casting interruptions, this was something that we talked about the other day, I think, where it's like, well, sucks to be you if you're a caster in that, because it's not damage based, it's not a number of hit based, it's you got hit, you're interrupted. And it could be an auto attack, it could be something that hits you for like 2 damage. You got hit, you're interrupted. Now it's less chance of being interrupted, because I think it's now damage based. Like damage received is less than 15% of max HP, then you still get the cast. But if you get stunned, silence, blah blah blah, obviously you're still stunned, silence, etc. Damage received being more than 15% means you're interrupted. So I think now that it actually has some sort of threshold is kind of neat. Otherwise, that's basically it. That and like specific job changes that no one really cares about, like machinist.
I freaked out so bad.
Yeah. But however, because of the feast, and even and especially because of these changes that make fighting, I guess, PvP matches faster, there's been that fucking rage where people are like, hey, let's just make a party, go in an AFK and get our lore and Nesso tomes and feed in the feast.
The buffet.
We'll call it the buffet, yeah. And I don't know how you guys feel about this. Like, some people are like, this is fucking shitty, and some people are like, I don't give a fuck, and some people are like, this is amazing, because maybe you're trying to rack up wins or something, and you're on the receiving end of people just feeding you. Like, give me that food. Or give me them wins.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it's bullshit. You're cheesing content to, come to a means to an end. And yeah, sure, I get it that tomes are kind of irritating to cap because you gotta do the same thing over and over. But to basically nullify someone else's fun is silly. Because the whole reason you go in there is the PvP. Now, if you're working out some kind of sketchy, you're trading off wins and you're just scumbags and there's nothing I can do to stop you. So, whatever.
I think that's fine then, yeah?
Yeah,
I think that's fine.
At that point, it's fine because it's a tacit, like, agreement and you're going to do it, whatever. And as long as the devs don't ban you, I can't really say anything about it because you're not affecting my gameplay. But the second you do it and you affect someone's gameplay, you're being a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Well, see, like, are you talking about like a whole team not doing anything, or just a single player?
Yes,
a whole team.
Well, both, essentially.
Well, here's the thing: if it's a single player, yeah, that's fucking over the other people on the team, right? Because the other people could be like, "No, I want to fucking win." If it's a whole team, and I'm on the winning team, I don't give a shit. I'll take my fucking free PvP points. The shit ends faster, and on to the next one.
Technically, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah,
the people who lose want, like, that's how I see it. But then like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of dumb if you're formatting it and people are like, yeah, fuck yeah, we're gonna PvP, and then it's like, oh, I'm winning because these guys are just sitting there.
Well, think of it like this: in anything that you get a rank and a rank up, I'll even put it into like, I play Street Fighter competitively. If that guy is not at his controller, I'll fucking take her points. I'll take the win. I'll rank up. I don't give a shit. If I play you again and you're doing it again, good for me.
Yeah.
I'll take that. But if he's fucking over other people on his team, that's what sucks. If it's a whole team doing it, I don't give a shit. Give me my points. Give me my rank.
And I think that basically is derived from why did you walk into that place in the first place? Did you walk in there because you want to, rank up? Then that's a perfect situation for you. Did you walk in there because you wanted to go have fun with your friends for a bit? It's a shitty situation for you.
Yeah, because if you don't give a fuck about your rank and you're just there for seeing what the feast is like and maybe getting some tomes while you're at it, like, therein lies the problem. It's the time versus reward is at the absolute highest out of all the content right now, and that's why it sucks.
Yeah, less than 8 minutes for how many tones?
10.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
So you're
That's
sitting,
pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
considering
Yeah.
considering I cap doing hunts getting 10 each, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like maybe 1 or 2 experts, and then you do your weekly shit, and then hunt the rest of the way for the rest of the week, and oof. So 10 is quite a bit. It adds up.
Yeah, that adds up really fast.
But as Siri said about as long as you're not getting banned, I believe Yoshida's like, report those people and we will look into it.
Fair enough.
So whether or not you're willing to, roll the dice on whether or not you're going to get reported, because some people take PvP hella seriously, some people not so much.
Yeah.
So like if you're one of those people who take it seriously and you don't really like the people who are fucking just AFK giving you a win, regardless if you want the win or not, you go ahead and report them.
Okay.
And that's
Would-
about, I think that's it, right?
Yep.
Aside from, okay, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. We have our last thing is our email from Anthony Wilson. He says, what do you guys think about the timescale of the Xbox One client is going to be? I know it's not official yet, but given the next live stream event for live stream event for Final Fantasy XIV is going to be streamed on Xbox One, I think we can all assume it's a safe bet. So he references the letter from Chris Charla, director of what's ID at Xbox? What's ID?
Internal development.
Okay, thank you. First, in addition to natively supporting cross-platform play between Xbox One and Windows 10 games that use Xbox Live, we're enabling developers to support cross-network play as well. This means players on Xbox One and Windows 10 using Xbox Live will be able to play with players on different online multiplayer networks, including other console and PC networks. And
So
here we
that link there is kind of part of the answer, or part
Yes.
of what leads to the answer. So the whole reason why 14 is not on Xbox One is because of this. It was dedicated to just Xbox Live servers, whereas PS4 was able to do cross-platform, if that's how it was set up, so that they can talk to a PC, so it worked out well. While back, Yoshi said that he would like to make a version of 14 for Xbox One if possible.
He did say this.
He did. But there's a concern, because what I'm looking at is the first year Xbox One hardware sales, and at no point in Japan has the Xbox One sold more than 25,000 units a week. At one point dipping down so far as to selling 8 in a week.
8,000?
Not 800 units, no, 8 individual units.
Oh, very nice.
The Xbox One and the Xbox 360 have both performed traditionally very poorly in Japan. Incredibly poorly. So it might take some finagling, but since the fact that we had 11 on 360, I think it might come sooner than we think.
That'd be good.
It all depends on how much money Microsoft is going to charge,
That's the other thing.
because patches are not free. And circumventing the Microsoft patching by using sort of an Xbox One Final Fantasy XIV launcher like they do on the PS4 and PS3 and PC to sort of auto patch your game upon login might be completely against what Microsoft wants for their game network, because they want full control. Think Apple Store except Microsoft for Xbox. They want to know everything that's going on and want to have control over everything that's going on.
Well, I don't have an...
It's not cheap.
No, I can imagine it's not cheap. Well, I know that there's some Xbox One players out there who would probably really like to have 14 client on that console. And what it means for us is, hey, more new players. So I'm not totally against it.
Well, I mean, if you're playing this game already and you want it on Xbox, it doesn't mean
You don't
you're
have
a new
it.
player, because you're obviously playing on some console or another, or on some platform or another.
Well, my main thing was like, I never understood why Xbox and like PC were never compatible. Well, not they're not compatible, but they never like pushed for it until like fairly recently, because Windows is the primary operating system, and it's like Microsoft, and then they had that games. Remember the few years ago, the games for Windows thing,
which
where
which
you
got
would
canned.
yeah, but you would log into your Xbox Live on
Yep.
your Windows, and it was so
Yep.
dumb because I would play like Street Fighter on my PC and be like, "These are your friends playing Street Fighter, but you can't play with them
Because
And
they're
it's
all on
like-
Xbox.
because they're all on Xbox." And it's like, "Oh well, I'm just gonna turn off my thing and play on Xbox," But it was really dumb that they had that there, and they never really pushed for it until recently.
Thank you, Windows 10.
Yeah, right.
No, basically that's it, right?
That is why.
Windows 10 was sort of they didn't want to sort of add functionality to something that they didn't want phased out, because they're really trying to phase out 7 and 8, 8.1. And all these exclusive bullshit that they're doing is basically to force people to use Windows 10. And then on top of that, PlayStation game stream to PC is now available, or is going to be
Ooh.
available.
Oh yeah.
So that's sort of like a kick in the nuts to Microsoft, because Microsoft thought that they could do, thought that they could be the sole game streamer, whatever, and force people to use Windows 10. But now it's like, oh, you have a PS4, you want to remote play on your PC, you can. And you don't need Windows 10, because Sony doesn't give a fuck if you're using Windows 7 or 8 or 10. I mean, I don't think it's
like
live
that.
yet, but they definitely announced it. So, surprise.
Well,
So
then.
I mean, I think that's awesome that they're realizing that they can't really be competition, because people will have their preferences,
Mhm.
and people will play games on whatever their friends are playing on.
Yep.
So it's not really a like who's winning, even though PS4 is obviously winning the console race. It's you just have to make
sick
it,
burn.
you just have to make it work, and if you're not willing to make it work, then people are just going to go with the people who are going to try to make it work.
Yep. With that said, I wouldn't mind if Xbox One was supported. It'd be great.
I'd be
Because
happy.
it's one more thing to sort of sell the game that you love to someone who's trying to play it or
Yeah.
thinking about playing it, right? It's like, oh, your friend only has an Xbox One. You'd be like, well, if you don't want to pay for a new PC, just get the Xbox One version. Boom.
Yeah, like I actually had the conversation at SoccerCon with one of my buddies, and like they're like, "Yeah, what have you been playing? Do you still play 14?" I'm like, they're like, "So is that on PC only?" I'm like, "No, it's PS4." They're like, "Same servers?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Wow, I play Destiny, but some of my buddies are on PS3, and I'm on PS4, but we can't play together. Some of my friends are on Xbox 360, and
Oh.
or Xbox One. And it's like there's 4 different consoles that can't play together at all."
And
And it's just like,
this
what the fuck?
This was actually why they were talking about this specific, like the whole cross-platform multiplayer thingy. What was it? Rocket League? You can play PC, PS4, and Xbox on the
See?
same servers against
Exactly,
each other.
right?
Like, I don't understand why, as someone who makes video games, you would want to not do that.
Because
Like-
here's the thing, they make money. They actually will make more money this way.
Yeah, because I don't have to go and hope, because you don't limit your fan base or your customer base, because you're only selling the PS4. Like, if I was an Xbox One only console user, would I buy the PS4 Rocket League?
No. Think about it this way. I play fighting games. I had no interest in Killer Instinct because it was an Xbox One exclusive.
Same
It's
here.
coming out on PC. That's cross compatible with Xbox
Yep.
One. So I can go get Killer Instinct if I want to and play with my friends who have it on Xbox One.
Yeah.
So now they
Shit.
just sold
that's
a copy
that's
of
one
Killer Instinct
copy
to me.
Yeah, that's
they
one
just sold
copy
one to
that
me.
they wouldn't have sold.
And I would totally get it, because I remember watching the last Evo, and I'm like, holy shit, that's the fighting game I want to play, because I totally loved Killer Instinct growing up, and now that's, for me, like hearing you guys talk about Street Fighter 4 now, or 5, sorry, now I have something to be like, oh yay, I get to get a fighting game, even though I'll probably just mash buttons.
Mm-hmm. I think there's something to be said about like the console exclusivity. Like, you know, people desire that to you know, it be a selling point. But fuck, the more places the thing is, the more community you have, and it's just better all the way around.
Yeah, I completely agree.
That homogenous community.
Because game developers, I think they might be pressured by the console to be like, hey, your game has to sell consoles. You know?
Well, on top of that, look at what happened with Street Fighter. You know, PlayStation, Sony is one that funded that game to be created, so that's why it's on PS4 only rather than Xbox as well.
And thus it sold PS4 consoles. Because if it wasn't coming out for PC, I would have bought a PS4.
Alrighty.
All right. We have one more email that wasn't included in our notes. This one's by Epi1. He says, hey all. First, whiskey is good. Currently sipping Woodford Reserve.
Hell yeah, Woodford Reserve. I love that shit.
Second, steak is good. Not eaten enough. We agree with that. Third, love the podcast. Aw, we love you too. I have been away from the game for a while due to life's call to be a responsible adult. We understand. But SBXIV has kept me company during my time away and has helped me prioritize my time in the game when I do find those slots of time to play. I play White Mage as a main, and I'm starting to work on alts to try and fill more roles when needed. Keep up the awesome work. I look forward to everything you guys have to offer as a podcast, and of course, all the craziness of being awesome people. Well worth the Patreon support. Sincerely, Epi1. P.S. Lala for life. P.S.S. I really wanted that spring cap, and the egg tower, and the papaya song, so I chased that fucking egg for hours. Shit, son.
So you know I missed the event. Totally didn't do it.
I did too.
I ran out of time.
I got home, fell asleep, woke up, and it was over. I was like, shit.
And then you capped for Matt.
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
Because of my plane delay, I came home and it was over.
Oh. Well, I did it when it started, and then I did it before I left because I wanted to make sure that our free company had the egg tower, and I wanted the barding, and I wanted the papaya song. So I have the papaya song, and for a while it was playing in the house. I think it might be playing in my house or in my room. I'm not sure.
The most important thing, though, is the Patreon support.
It is.
Yes. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, it definitely helps with paying our server costs and handling that. And it's just one less thing that, you know, we have to worry about. So thank you again for your support. And I think with that, we are done. So you can find us at sequencebreak.com. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at SBXIV. If you want to be, you know, someone like Epi1 and help us support our podcast and you know, help us with our server costs, you can find us at patreon.com/SBXIV. If you want to follow us on Twitch, we can be found at twitch.tv/sequencebreak. And we do have a Facebook group. Joe, I keep forgetting the Facebook page thingy majiggy.
It's facebook.com/sequencebreakxiv.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And I believe... Oh, and one more thing. If you want to email us at podcast@sequencebreak.com. I'm thinking we should hold a contest. Do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's time.
Let's do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In a contest.
I don't know. We'll think about it.
We'll think about it. We'll announce it next week. But I think we should do a contest because it's about time we should do a contest. So, because there's a mount.
I don't know about next week, but...
There is a mount.
There is a mount. I'd like to give one away.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, we'll go around the table and have people plug in their things. Keep your things in your pants.
Too late. You said it.
Keep it in the pants. I said.
Plugging all my things in.
No.
Let's start with Oro then.
No, we're not starting with Oro.
Okay, guys. The thing that I want to plug. Alchemichi.net.
Thank you.
Okay.
Siri, you're next.
You can find me on Twitter, CIRRISIAN. follow me there, and then follow me in Mitomo and ask me stupid questions.
Oh my gosh, I was about to ask, like, are you on Mitomo? When are you gonna plug it?
Plug me, find me on Mitomo, ask me questions.
And plug him.
Next is Jeff.
If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. That's all I really care about.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about the YouTube. We are still in need of a few more subscribers, right? To get
Not
our
many,
short URL.
just a
Not
few.
that many. Yeah, just a few. I'm actually hoping that people are enjoying the new format of the podcast that's on it, because I'm trying to make it a little bit less boring one picture for an number of hours, and more like you get to watch something happening.
They should see your derpiness.
Yeah,
Too bad they can't see our in real life
much
derpiness.
You watch me fuck up in this game over and over again for the duration of this podcast. But
That
yeah,
sounds-
if you like it, if you want to subscribe, please do. If you don't like it, click the dislike and leave a comment and be like, "Yo, this sucked. Maybe you should
And-
change this."
At least some criticism.
Yeah, for
This
sure,
is why.
for sure.
Yeah, this is why.
I don't actually do this for a living, so this is just me going, "Oh, buttons, what do these do? Oh my god!" Oh, and then I end up, shitting out an episode of SBXIV on YouTube.
That sounds how I play this game. Smash, 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 smash.
Isn't that how we play a lot of games? Just smash, 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 smash.
I just
what
take
I-
my face and I put it on the keyboard.
Just face and then.
Yeah.
Last we have Joe.
Hello. You can find me on Twitter, J0SHIMITSU.
All right. And with that, I believe we are done. So, goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.